Autocad 2023 Tutorial 5. Hello everyone, I am Gangadhar, a BIM manager. This is the next tutorial on Autocad. Please support and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. In this tutorial, we are going to learn the various ways through it several times to modify the objects that are placed in it to navigate through the drawing. We use some certain navigation tools, and by certain navigation tools I am referring to zoom, pan and orbit. We can find those tools if we open the view menu as zoom, pan, in orbit. They can also be displayed in the view tab. If I right click and from the show panels options check the panel, navigate, notice that the panel is now added to the tab. In addition, there are in the navigation bar under the view tube. In case this bar does not show in your computer, you should go to the view tab of the ribbon and activate the navigation bar button. In the viewport tools panel, mine is already activated. So if I click on the button, the bar will disappear. Of course, we can type the name of any of these tools in the command line and press enter to activate them. However, the most common, quick and convenient way to use those tools is by using the mouse and the keyboard. So to zoom in general we scroll the wheel of the mouse forward on the cartridge. The zoom out, we need to scroll the wheel of the mouse backward. Notice that every time I scroll the wheel forward, the drawing is being zoomed in. Well, every time I scroll backward, the drawing is being zoomed out. Now, if I want to zoom to draw an existing extents, all I have to do is double click the view wheel button. Once the view is restored, to draw an extent, all the objects are zoomed in or zoomed out up to the point. The whole drawing fits the screen size. Now I shall tell you about a little tip for when you want to zoom in on a certain object of the drawing. Let's say I want to see more clearly the planter is on the left table. I will move my cursor on it, and without moving the mouse any further, I will scroll the wheel forward to zoom in. Specifically on the item, as I zoom in more and more, eventually I can distinguish the lines of the plant and I can even modify them. If I want now, imagine that I need to inspect the chair on the left of the table. Of course, I could just double click the wheel to perform zoom extents and zoom in again with my cursor. Resting on the chair, but that would take some time to archive. So since I am satisfied with the zoom level and the chair is next to the plant, I will just shift the view without changing the viewing direction or magnification. I will hold down the wheel button and drag the mouse to the right until the chair is almost in the middle of the screen. This tool is called pan and enables me to move to the left and to the right as well as up and down. In the current view direction and zoom level, or simply put it, enables me to move view planter to the screen. At this point, I will double click the wheel to perform zoom extents and show you. The last basic navigation tool, which is orbit. I will hold the shift key down and the wheel button and drag the mouse. Notice that the dragging orbits around the green specific dot that appears in its center. If you also take a look on the view cube, you will see that it also rotates simultaneously with the drawing. By orbiting the view, changes from the top to perspective to restore the top view. I will click top from the view cube and use the rotation arrows if needed. Now that I have shown you the basic navigation tools, let's see how we can find them in the navigation bar. The first icon is a navigation wheel. Once I click on it, it moves, it becomes active, and when I move the cursor in the drawing area, it will appear in this wheel. We can find all the navigation tools I have previously referred to use them. You can keep the left click pressed and on either of them and move the mouse accordingly. In my opinion, though it's not a convenient tool, especially for a beginner, so I will press escape to deactivate it. The second tool is pan. Once I click on it and move the cursor in the drawing area, a hand appears. I will click somewhere in the drawing area. Keep the click pressed and move the cursor around the hand. Seems the grasp the drawing area and move it. According to how I move the mouse, I will press escape once again to move on to the next tool, which is zoom extents. When I click on it, as we saw previously, the drawing is aligned in the center of the screen and becomes as large as possible to be fully visible. This tool deactivates automatically. Under the zoom extents icon, there is an arrow. When I click on it, a drop down menu appears with various zoom options. From those options, the most useful ones are zoom object, which zooms to display one or more objects as large as possible, and in the center of the screen, zoom in and zoom out. I won't elaborate on these tools. Again, the last tool I showed you is under the zoom extension icon, and it is the orbit. Once you activate it, you can click on the drawing area and rotate the view. Under the orbit icon, there is an arrow. A drop down menu appears. Again, with a few more options for orbit. I won't elaborate on these tools either, because all the orbit tools are hardly ever used in 2D drawing. In the same way, you can find zoom, pan and orbit in the view menu and in the navigation panel of the view tab. it's a good idea to test how those tools works before you move on with the next lesson. So I suggest that you take some time to practice until you become familiar with them. Alright, so hopefully you have learned something from this video. If you have any comments, any questions or suggestions, you can put it in the comment section below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. This is it for today's tutorial. Please support and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.